guys, welcome to Parmesan3374, and today I'm going to show you how I did an entire, miniature concert rig studio in my living room for Christmas Eve, and we performed. As you can see, it's kind of big, but it's actually not that hard. This is not going to be a full tutorial, just a brief overview of how I got everything set up in the behind the scenes. So it all just starts with this mixer right here. This is the Yamaha MGP24X, and it's pretty big. It was my old church mixer that we don't use anymore, but everything's panned in stereo. As you can see, everything over here, all these keyboards are going directly into it. Every single one for the most part, with the exception of one, and I'll get there in a minute. But most of these are stereo, and some of these are mono, but it doesn't really matter, left and right. This one right here is only mono because this keyboard only has one jack on it, a phone's jack, and I could have got a splitter like I did for this one, but it doesn't really matter. This keyboard is old, and it's the less advanced out of all of them, so I just ran it in mono and I was good to go. But yeah, this is the main mixer, but since it doesn't have USB, it does have USB, but since it doesn't have this type of USB, I don't think, I brought my personal mixer out, which is this one, and this goes directly, the driver is already installed, but I ran this directly to this PC right here. This is an HP Omen gaming PC. I don't use this because it's my mom's and no one really uses it. I have my own, but since no one was using it, I brought it downstairs, and I opened OBS, and this is free software right here, and this literally controls like the camera angles. I have 4 cameras. 2 of them are webcams and 2 of them were my phones. I didn't have any pro cameras. I just used webcams and they worked okay. But in order to run all of the audio that's coming from here and then here into stereo on here and then record it, I had to get something called this. And this is an ACO input capture. This runs ACO for all, and you can just put everything in the stereo. If you go into here, and you can actually do 1 and 2 and make it left and right for stereo. But in order to have all of these keyboards in stereo and use a desktop audio, if I wanted to play music from the computer, I would have to get something like this. And this is Voicemeeter Banana. This is also free. And as you can see, I have a USB audio coded. That is the small mixer right here. That's all the audio. And since it's blinking, it's because I had to reset it, but everything is on here, and this allows me to mix the desktop audio and then all the audio coming from here in stereo. So this is also free. All this stuff is free software, and it works really well. On this monitor, I have the sound table, and this really is color coded. It's really honestly just for, see right here, you see how everything is, well, like if we're using pad or the bass sound or lead sound. I didn't finish it, but most of the sounds we use come from here, and all the songs that we were going to do, we only did some of them, but it worked out pretty well nevertheless. As you can see, it's the first camera angle, the main one. This is a Nexigo 1080p 60 FPS webcam, and it's not that bad. What makes this really good though is the fact that it's 60 FPS instead of being 30, so it makes it look more professional, which is why I use this one. And that's not mine either. I borrowed that from my stepdad. But you got the Korg Triton Extreme in the front, the Roland XP-80. This is from '96. This is from 2004, so they're a little bit older than I am. This is the Yamaha EX5. This is the YPG-235. Get the Korg Triton Pro X. The Yamaha SY77. This is from 1998, 08, 1989, and then 1999. And then you got the MU2000, and then the XV-5080, and the 16-unit rack right here. This is getting 5-pin MIDI to this, so every time I play this on here, you can see the light come on. So I have 2 sounds. This interface is the Behringer Euphoria UMC1820. The only reason why I use this is because I needed an extra port to stretch from this to the SY77 synthesizer. And as you can see, stereo out is what I used to output all of these inputs from the keyboard, all of this going into one input on this mixer using this slider right here, so I can control everything on here. And then this right here is the interface. And this is really only for the SY77, just so it could reach. But this works very well. It all worked out better than I thought it would. This is a Logitech, just like your normal Logitech 1080p 30 FPS webcam right here, and this worked pretty well. It was clear. The FPS wasn't as good as this one, but it worked for this camera angle right here. And then over here we have a Korg R3 synthesizer, virtual analog synthesizer, and then this MIDI controller going to this laptop. What did I use this laptop for? Just for Air Hybrid 3, which is it's like another VA synthesizer, but it's like digital on here, virtual. And then what I did was I just got this 3.5 splitter. So all the audio from this terrible laptop goes, and then a splitter runs to the mixer, and it runs as a channel. One of these, I think it's this one, left and right, and that worked way better than I thought it would. So that's how I did that. It's just a 3.5 to, and then it splits into 2 1/4-inch stereo. Now over here is a PSR-170. This is just a portable keyboard. It's my first keyboard, and I don't know why I brought it out, but it's kind of funny. So I ran that mono, but that worked, and it blended in. For some reason, it mixed well with all these other ones, which most of these are professional. So it's funny how this actually like sounded just as good. Now this is the live PA speaker setup. Now this is a TOA 15-inch keyboard amplifier. I borrowed this from church. And this is 100 watt, I think it's a KD2. This is from the early 90s, I think. But it worked very well. And then this is a Klipsch R-12SW subwoofer. This is a 12-inch 400 watt. And then this is a 115 watt Sony, I think it's a SA-CS9 or something like that. Yeah, I think it's the SA-CS9. But both of those work very well, and it gives the speaker amp right here extra bass. But this is running from the amp. If you look back here, it's not plugged up, but I ran it from the channel 1 and the channel 2 for stereo, and I ran that both out this way, and this goes to this mixer right here and to the control room out. See, this one, I think I accidentally unplugged this one, but it was left and right on the control room out. So all the output would go to the amplifier and my headphones at the same time and the same volume. So that worked out very well. And it just ran just like this. Now, how did I hook the subwoofers up to this? You would have to go onto the stereo out on here, because the inputs are for all the sound to go into here, but the outputs to add more speakers would be right here, the stereo out, left and right. So I had one going to the left and then one going to the right. So that's how I had that set up. So that's basically what I did. I just MIDI'd this to the MU2000, which is a Japanese module half rack, and then this to this, and everything into this mixer, and then this goes to here, this goes to here, and then this goes to the speakers, and it worked out very well. It's the tripod, that's where my phone was. And how to use your phone for cameras and OBS, you have to download something called DroidCam OBS, and that's also free, and it allows you to use your phone as a camera angle. And it doesn't have the best latency, but it works for if you just like absolutely have no other choice. And my surge protector of choice happens to be the Superdanny, and then also the Belkins. Those are my two favorite surge protectors, and they have a lot of ports, and they're very stable compared to a lot of the other ones I've used. And then I'm just using generic Donner Sustain pedals, which they worked pretty well. No issues with those. But yeah, that's basically the entire setup. I'm gonna run it back over really fast. You got the main mixer, all these keyboards going into here, and then this, all the audio goes to this. this goes to the amp, and then this goes to the computer and the headphones. And then this gets recorded on OBS. And then as you can see, the scene transitions, and you can change it like that, and change the if you want it cut or fade. And then this is running Voicemeeter and then ACO input capture. If you look all the way over there, my old phone is still hooked up as another camera angle. But if you want to see some of these videos, I might post them on Skylighted, the YouTube channel Skylighted. That's where all my music is. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.